What's good, people? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, please do subscribe down below, smash a like, hit the bell. Those things help out a lot. YouTube does notify people when we upload, so just make sure you hit that bell. Anyway guys, today we got a dope episode for you. It's all about tips that you should be doing, especially when it comes to handling your fresh flowers at harvest time. It's harvest time and your plants are showing some impressive yields. Perfect. Now I know that's exciting, but this is actually the time to be methodical and careful so that the trichomes and terpenes are nicely preserved. So don't rush the brush and don't destroy those flowers by holding on to them. Because I know harvest time is fun. No matter the size of your garden, growing another crop of flowers is always cause for celebration, and harvesting is always cause for celebration. But how you handle your freshly harvested flower can have an impact on the overall flower quality. You may not believe it, but seemingly minor choices like how you cut down your plants or how you organize strains in the drying room can have impact on both bag appeal and potency. Having the right tools to handle and care for fresh flowers is also essential. So by doing a few things right when you're harvesting and drying your flowers, you not only protect the valuable trichomes, but also ensure that the terpenes have a chance to fully express themselves, which to me is perfect. So in today's episode, we're going to run through all the top tips that you need to do when you're handling your fresh flowers at harvest time. But before we get into that, guys, big ups to everyone that's supporting on Patreon, man. If you aren't supporting on Patreon, definitely join up, man. We got a lot of free stuff going on, VIPs, you guys get the best perks, and I can't wait to show you guys some of those awesome stuff that we got in the gold boxes. And I know some of you guys got the gold boxes already, man, and you guys are loving it. So drop it in the comments if you're loving your gold box. And if you aren't, man, you gotta get a gold box. Drop it in the comments if you got yours, and if you haven't, I don't know what you're doing, bro. But guys, we're getting closer to the launch of Diesel Dog, and I am super excited, man. Diesel Dog clothing is for us stoners, us 420 lovers. It's everything Diesel. If it ain't Diesel Dog, I don't want it, dog. So if you guys are excited as I am, smash the like button and let's get into today's episode. Yes guys, now there are a lot of ways that flowers are actually damaged while harvesting. A commonly overlooked part of the cultivation process is the physical act of actually chopping down your plants. While the picking process may seem simple, being too rough on those flowers can have lasting negative impacts. Because a lot of people tend to overhandle fresh flowers during harvest, they also jeopardize the potency and bag appeal of those flowers. If your hands, tools, and equipment tend to get coated in resin during harvest, you're likely to be touching the flowers a lot more than you otherwise would have. Probably just touching them too much. In fact, this resin is comprised of trichomes that in turn house both cannabinoids and terpenes. So getting them stuck to everything and getting everything stuck to it while you trim and while you harvest may not be ideal. Another common mistake that people make during harvest is piling fresh flowers deep inside bins for transport. So they pretty much pile flowers on top of each other. When the flowers are stacked in this fashion, they're easily squished beneath the weight of one another. In some cases, you may just break off colas or disfigure them entirely. If you guys are trimming on a smaller scale, I also don't recommend piling flowers on top of each other. Spread them out if you have to. Rotate them occasionally. The weight of the flowers and the gravity will literally just pull down on it and cause it to pancake on itself. Now there are also a few common drying room mistakes that you guys need to avoid. Many home growers also tend to overlook conditions in their drying room. Yet the failure to keep things dialed in is an important step that can have detrimental impacts on your crop. So you gotta pay attention to it. If your flower dries too quickly, chlorophyll does not fully break down and the flowers become increasingly brittle. Not only does this lead to a harsh taste, but your whole harvest can potentially turn into shake if you're not careful. And you don't want a bunch of shake, right? On the other hand, by drying your flowers too slowly, you create overly humid conditions in the drying room where pathogens like bud rot have the chance to ruin an entire harvest. We actually did a video on bud rot and mold and how to avoid it, so definitely check that video out because it does not stop at harvest. It's pre-harvest and post-harvest, pre and post. And in a lot of cases, drying too slowly causes a hay-like taste that just ruins the aesthetic and taste of your flowers. Now, to avoid damaging your flowers during harvest time, there are a few strategic steps that you can implement with your standard processes just to improve everything and make sure that you preserve those terpenes and trichomes. These are simple measures, from cutting down the plants the right way to having the right tools in your drying room. You just gotta be aware of these things. And when it comes to cutting plants, the most efficient way to harvest flowers is to cut the whole plant at the stem, right above the soil. One clean cut, and by holding the stem and chopping the base, you can bring the plant down without making contact with a single flower. You don't have to get in there, you don't disturb trichomes, you don't disturb anything in there. Next, I like to hang the whole plant up on a little hanger or a hook, and that works great. But again, you gotta be aware of your environment. If you're in a super humid place, a lot of the leaf and the leaf matter that you hang up, if you hang the plant up whole, can cause a little bit of a bud rot. Hanging the entire plant up whole may not be the best idea. You may want to trim the individual branches off and then hang that up. So there's a real science behind it. You just gotta think about it. Because you can also cut off some of those excess fan leaves and work your way around the plant before you cut it down, just getting off some of those big fan leaves. Removing those extra leaves not only helps to regulate moisture levels in your drying room, but also creates more space to dry your viable flowers. I like to leave some of those sugar leaves on there because those form into like little bud blankets and dry around the flower and really protect those flowers. Now when it comes to actually hanging up that fresh plant material, a dedicated drying room is always the best idea. You can use a closet, you can use your grow tent, you can use a mini tent, and all those things work great. It really helps to regulate the environment inside there so you can get the best environment and the best final product. You can also use drying racks which have like that polyester mesh, but you want to be careful just to rotate those flowers so they don't pancake out on you. Now it's super important to get your drying room dialed in, guys. To avoid drying your flowers too quickly or too slowly, you got to arrange your flowers in the right fashion and also check that moisture content. A little mini hygrometer works great and really helps you to dial in the RH and the temps in your grow environments. You want to give those flowers enough space in the room to be able to dry properly. I like to organize my flowers by strains and give them enough space so that they're not bunched up next to each other, or they're not touching, or they're not squeezed up next to each other. You just want to make sure that they got space to dry and there's a little bit of space for airflow within and around them. Now flowers are inherently fragile. There's so many ways that they can be damaged during the harvest time, so that's why you always got to pay attention to how you can not damage them. Now while some growers may be okay with spending large sums of money on grow room equipment and nutrients, they often overlook the proper flower care during the most important phase, which is the harvest phase. And for me, I care about my harvest, man. So make sure you got the correct pieces of tools on hand, a pair of trimmers, some pruners, some scissors. Those things really work out great. You can grab yourself a little trim bin or trim tray and you can collect a lot of those trichomes and keef or whatever you want to call it when you're trimming your flower. With all things said, properly handling your fresh flowers during harvest is a great way to preserve the overall integrity of your crop. By making sure that your flowers aren't overhandled during harvest, you know, you're holding on to them and trimming and stuff, just hold on to the stem instead. Leave a little bit of stem so you can hold on to that stem, so you're not holding on to the entire bud, you know? Little things will really improve your final product. So smash the like button for that, and don't forget to hit that bell. But wait.
This video is brought to you by Mars Hydro, where they have a variety of grow lights and grow tents for growers of all experience levels. Whether you're a small home grower or setting up a slightly bigger commercial operation, they have the tents and lights for you. They have tents for every space and need, including the new 2-in-1 tents. And they also have a wide variety of lights to choose from, including full spectrum LED and the new detachable FCE series. Links to all of the products that we use on this channel, including the Mars Hydro grow lights, are in the description below. Be sure to use the links below to support the iCanTHC channel. You can also save a few bucks on the Mars Hydro website by using the code iCanTHC at checkout for store-wide savings. Don't forget to use the code and save yourself a few bucks. Now, back to the video.
Check out this video right here and this video right here, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, fam.